I mentioned information supply before, information supply, which is an important part of information management because you don't perform the information management for itself. You perform it that somebody can consume the information, can consume the data to form information or knowledge from it. And that is connected actually to the person, which somehow consumes the information. And you somehow have to look into the head of the person to know what kind of messages, what kind of information does this person need for his or her processing, need for his or her task within the company. So you have to know the information demand. What do the people need? What information do the people require for their work? And of course, we have to keep in mind not only some private interest of the information demand. That's not the task of our information management. We have to take care about the enterprise demands. We have to keep in mind the business model of our company, and our goal is to support this business model, to support the tasks in the department with some information supply, delivering the right information at the right time for the right people. And fulfilling this demand essentially relies on a well-functioning information system. So you need application software, somehow need to configure the application software properly. You have to prepare the correct system structure from the creation over processing until the usage of the information. So the information system is one essential part in your information management. Information management means that in your phase of operation, you have to well organize your information management. This might consist of manual processing of information, manually supporting processing of information, manually somehow working with tools, with software tools. And it also consists of automatic processing. This does not touch the people, but it touches you as the information manager, maybe, because you somehow have to organize this automatic processing of the information. Automatic requesting of information, automatic sourcing of the information, processing then, and subsequently supplying the information to the right people. If we deal with information management, then we also have to think about two essential phases. And the first phase for the preparation, and the second phase for the operation, for utilizing then the information. So in the first phase, you actually don't perform any processing, but you prepare this processing. You prepare the processing for the information management, and that means that you first ask the people, the employees, the workers, what information do they need for their daily work? What information demand do they have? What kind of questions do they ask into the information systems, into the organization? Questions, of course, which are important for their daily work. And this then means for you, regarding the demand, that you have to find the proper sources, the sources for the information the people are requesting. Might be that you are not able to provide the right sources, but if the people ask the questions regarding the company information, then it should be possible to somehow also find sources. It might be more or less difficult, technically maybe, or organizationally difficult to uh, to actually access these sources, but in many cases, sources for the information exist, and they only have to be opened to also access these data and to provide it to the people who have certain information demand. Exploiting the sources is then the aspect that you open it and that you somehow process the data from the sources, that you somehow supply, you somehow are able to supply the information to the proper people. And the preparation also might include that you have sources in your enterprise. These sources contain data also, but these data are not able to directly be supplied to the information. Uh, the data might not be in the right shape to supply it directly to employees who have certain information demand. Maybe you have to transform the data first, um, transform somehow, of course, into information which are related to your enterprise and which somehow serve your business goal, or the goal of the company or the goal of the employee, which of course works in the organization. And as the information manager, you also have to prepare that you centrally access information, that you centrally persist information first. Persisting means saving information um, for a longer time, not only for a couple of minutes, but for a longer time. And then being able to provide these collected information to other users. And redundancy is an important aspect as well. Redundancy, for example, might mean that you don't want to save data, save the same data in two different places, and you would have bad redundancy, um, such that you might ask in which place to search if you require certain information. Redundancy might be good if you think about backups. Then you um, should also think about it in your information management to be sure that in case of a hardware defect, you still can access your data in a redundant place. So management tasks which are related to this phase of the preparation are that you have to care about the hardware, hardware on which the software runs. You have to take care about the processes, what happens in your information management, from which sources are the data acquired, how are they processed, how are they supplied to the knowledge worker, to the information demander. And what is your organization, your internal organization, your procedural organization, your structural organization to perform this information management? So this basically describes the phase of the preparation. You have to think about certain things before you open the sources, before you make the processing. You have to first structure your information management, structure your information supply. If you have structured it, if you have implemented some procedures, if you have implemented some processing, if you opened the sources, if you have views onto the data for the users, then you come into the phase for the utilization of the information. You use the information for a certain business purpose, for the business processes, and this then means that people actually do the searching of the information, do the requesting, they view into the information, and the information is then transferred from the source, requiring certain processing, into the destination of the information. And then there's only one task for the receiver. The receiver has to see this information. The receiver needs to interpret the information, interpret for its daily tasks, and this then is the aspect of information knowledge, depending on the level, on the knowledge level the receiver works on. So what is done in the information management for you if you are in this phase of the utilization? You might think then it's done. You don't have to perform any tasks anymore, but you still have to care about some operational tasks. For example, if you have a certain information system running, if you have a certain architecture, then you might need to perform a certain evolution of your information system. People might have different demands. There might be different sources coming up in your company or maybe also outside your company. And then you have to evolve your information system, the architecture of your information system, into a next phase, into a different information system, which is still proper working for the information demand the employees might have. There might be also tasks for overviewing the operations with some controlling, and overviewing also the operation with some KPIs, key performance indicators, mostly technically key performance indicators, which somehow indicate that the system is running properly, or that there are some bottlenecks maybe in the system, and then you would have to perform tasks in order to make the system running better, running faster, um, maybe exploiting the sources better, and so on. So before we looked into some general aspects of the information management, and now in this slide we look into the hierarchical aspects of the information management. That means that the information management is important in different layers of the company. Different layers, so to say. You have a management layer, you have an upper management, you have a management in the lower levels, and you might have also operational tasks in your company. And these levels within your company are also related to the information management, to the layers of the information management. As you see here, there are basically in this slide, three layers of information management. The strategic layer, strategic tasks, is the most upper layer. Then there's the tactical layer, tactical tasks, which are to perform. And there are also operational tasks in your information management. So let's look at this slide from bottom up. First, we have the operational tasks. Operational task means just using the setup processes in your information management, using the information, using the data from some sources, concretely exploit these data. You might have operational tasks for operations, for keeping the systems running, monitoring the system, maybe doing some database administration, maybe looking for errors, maybe correcting these errors, maybe supplying updates to your software. These are operational tasks in your information management. And if you think about the slide before, you are in the phase of operation. You think about what's happening if the information management is running properly, then everything is okay. If it's not running properly, then you have to somehow fix errors. You somehow have to get it into the right path for operation. Then there might be some tactical tasks, some administrative tasks, and they might require some system planning, maybe short-term system planning, maybe realizing some maintenance which does not have the goal for short-term error correction, but maintenance for keeping the information logistics up to date. And these tactical tasks are, of course, different from the strategic tasks. Strategic tasks, which are somehow on the highest level of this pyramid, where you think about the long-term evolution of your information management. The long-term evolution which you might bring in line with the overall business goals. For example, to be the leader in your business, and therefore to also lead in your information management with certain tools, with providing special methods for your employees to lead with your business model. And this requires also thinking about hardware, thinking about processes, thinking about software you supply for the people for using, and it also requires organizational aspects to think about who does perform these strategic tasks. So different tasks for the information management in different layers, structured in different layers, and with different different aspects, long-term, short-term, or operational tasks.